सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारणम् Hare Krishna. Do we have any points for discussion today?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
So I wanted to ask, how can we prepare our death?
How can we prepare?
Our death.
For our death. How to face death? Is that your question?
Yes. Yes.
So, in English there is a saying, as sure as death. Death, there is nothing more certain than death. So, although death is a certainty, we generally do not dwell on death. If you look at our school, whatever we study, you go to college, you look at our newspapers, you look at our news channels, they may report so and so person died, so and so person. Even in newspapers, you have the obituary column, people expressing their condolences. All that may be there. So we all know there is something called death. But then nobody tells us that one day you will also have to face this. We only say, oh, so and so person passed away. At such a young age he passed away. What to do? Very sad. He did this, he did that. He was such a good man, etc., etc. People talk good things and they remember that person, and maximum they express condolences with the family of the deceased, and life goes on. But nobody tells us that one day you will also have to die. Think of death. What is death? What happens at the point of death? Nobody tells us. Why? Because nobody knows. If they knew, they would have spoken of it. So because they don't know about it, they don't speak about it. So Prabhupada gave a nice analogy to explain this, how a rabbit, when it is in danger, it digs its head into the ground and covers its head and eyes. And it thinks that now I cannot see, oh, this animal has attacked me, now I am not able to see, so I am free from the danger. So this is akin to that. Because we do not know what is the phenomenon of death, what happens at the time of death, we have no idea. So close our eyes to it, don't speak about it, don't talk about it, don't discuss about it, don't write about it, don't inspire people to contemplate upon the fact that we are all going to die one day. Anyway, when it comes, we will see. So it's postponed like that. So the fear of death comes about because of ignorance. When we are ignorant, when we are in ignorance, the characteristic of ignorance is that it fills the heart with fear. For example, let us say that you are studying in school or college and exams are scheduled. Suddenly, the exams are announced, short period of time, and you are able to cover only half the syllabus. You have studied only half the syllabus. Now, when you go into the exam hall, that half an hour before exam is the time when your heartbeat will be racing and you will have a cold sweat on your head and your whole body, you'll be feeling feverish. You'll not be able to, your whole mind will freeze because you don't know what is going to happen. Why? Because ignorance. We don't know. Suppose some question comes up in the chapters which I have not studied, what will happen? I'll not be able to answer. So what is going to happen? I don't know in that exam hall. So you feel that fear. On the other hand, suppose you have thoroughly studied the entire syllabus and you are going into the exam hall. You will be very confident. I have read everything. See, in whenever you go to the college or school, when you go to the exam, you can see both kinds of people. There is one guy, actually you can see three kinds of guys. One guy is that front bencher who has studied everything. He is very confident. Hey, chalo yaar, it will be very easy, he will be telling. There is this middle bencher who has worked hard, studied something he could not understand, he has left. Oh, this chapter is very tough, let me leave it. So he is in great anxiety. What's going to happen, I don't know. Then there is the other guy, the bank bencher. He has not read anything, he is not bothered. Arey, if I fail, what is there? Next, this one I'll see, I'll write again. In the supplementary exam, I'll write, and that time the question paper will be easier. Some or the other, I'll pass. So he is not bothered. So the fact is that whenever we are in ignorance, it causes us great fear. Likewise, sometimes in the night, suppose you are going somewhere and it's pitch dark and you are going all alone. And you are on the way, you are walking home, and on the way there is this crematorium that you have to pass by. When you are passing by, your heart will be racing. Somehow quickly I have to pass over, I have to cross over this place and go home. And if possible, you will cross the street and go the other side. Why? Because fear. Don't know what is this, something crematorium. People talk about ghosts and all. I don't know whether something really exists or not. So fear of the unknown. So ignorance is actually the cause of fear. Now, because we are in ignorance of the phenomenon of death, death also appears fearful. That is why whenever we are put into a situation where our life is at risk, we are in a vehicle and suddenly there is a brake fail and the vehicle is going at 80 kilometers, 100 kilometers per hour, what will happen? You will have almost a heart attack. Why? Because any moment there can be an accident and you can die. So whenever there is a risk to your life, you will feel greatly afraid. And when the point of death comes, it is an extremely fearful situation. There are doctors sometimes have very difficult times, especially when they are dealing with patients who have some terminal disease, like let us say somebody has got cancer and the results show that it is 4th stage cancer and the person, it's very advanced, there is no way you can cure him, and the person maximum 1 month, 2 months he may live, after that he will die. Now to break that news to that patient is the most difficult thing for that doctor. And most cases what will happen is when the news is broken, the family members, the patient, they will all lose heart, they will start crying, you can see all kinds of distressful, disappointed, sorrowful reactions coming from the people. Why? Because when they know that now my time of death has come, it is extremely fearful. Now imagine a person who is actually going through the process of death. His life force is leaving his body. What he will be undergoing? It's an extremely painful and extremely fearful experience. Why? Because we don't know. If I leave this body, where am I going? For example, you are living in a flat, in a house, and night you are getting ready to sleep. You and your family members, you are all getting ready to sleep. And suddenly you hear somebody knocking on the door. Okay, night, ho gaya, 9 baje, 10 baj gaya, now is the time to sleep. Somebody is knocking on the door, go and open the door. Suddenly 4 people barge in, they throw out all your luggage and they push you out of the house and you are on the street. Now what will you do? Your mind will be in great turmoil. Oh, I've been chucked out of my house. Now where will I go in the night? Where will I go and sleep? What will happen to my family? What will happen to the children, the elders in the family? You'll be in great anxiety because you don't know. Now you are standing in the middle of the street. All your possessions are gone. Where will you go? Whom will you approach? So you can imagine if you are in a position where you are getting simply thrown out of your house, you feel so much anxiety. You are getting thrown out of your body. You are losing your life. What is the experience that the person will go through? It's an extremely painful and fearful experience, no doubt, for a person who is in ignorance. Now suppose same example, let us say you're living in the house and you 1 month ahead of time you know that so and so date my lease agreement for this house is getting over. And you have gone ahead, searched another house, made all the preparations, shifted all the luggage. So final day comes, what will happen? You will not wait for somebody to come and throw you out of the house. You will lock the house, go to the house owner, give the keys to him, and fold your hands and very smilingly you will tell him, thank you very much, I enjoyed the stay in your house all these days. And very happily you will go, because new house, you are entering a new house. So when you are sure of what is your upcoming future, you don't feel any fear. So as long as we are unaware, as long as we are in ignorance of what exactly happens at the time of death, we will remain in fear. So to remove this fear only, Lord Krishna, from the very beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, he talks about what is the phenomenon of death. So Krishna gives 2 examples in the Bhagavad Gita in the 2nd chapter to explain the phenomenon of death. First thing Krishna says is, Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tatha dehantara prapti dhira satra namuhyati. A dhira, a person who is in knowledge, he will never namuhyati, he will never be bewildered, he will never be afraid of the phenomenon of death. When he has to face death, a dhira will never be afraid. We have that famous example, no? Who was that? Socrates or Aristotle or somebody who was caught and he was administered poison. And when he was given hemlock poison, he told, first you should be able to catch me, then you can poison me. And very happily, without any worry, he drank the poison. Why? Because he knew he is not the body. He is a spirit soul. So Krishna is therefore saying, a dhira, a person who knows the fact, by analyzing his own life, that I was born as a child, I was born as a small baby infant, then I grew up into a young child, then I became a youth, and I became old. Now I am finally at the point of death. So when a person sees that in my whole life, I have changed so many bodies. I have given up the body of the baby, I have given up the body of the child, I have given up the body of the youth. So many bodies I have already given up in this life. But I am continuing to remain the same person. Today, that body of the child can never come back. Although I can look at my photographs, I can look at my videos and all those kind of things, I can reminisce, oh, this is how my childhood was. But okay, that photograph or that video you are seeing is yourself. Then why don't you bring back that child's body? Possible? Not possible. That body is gone forever. Finished. It will, no power on earth can bring back that body. Not possible. So, similarly, at the point of death, what happens is, whatever body you are occupying, you will give it up. And just like when you gave up that infant baby's body, you got a new body, a child's body. And when you gave up that child's body, you got a youth's body. When you gave up that youth body, you got an old body. So every time whenever you give up one body, you are getting another body in exchange. So at the time of death, whatever body I am occupying, I'll give up this, I'll get another body in exchange. So a person who understands this very clearly, Krishna says, Dhiras tatra namuhyati. He is not bothered about death. For him, it's just change of another body, which anyway I've been doing all through my life. It's not something new. Another example that Krishna gives is, Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya namani grinnati naroparani. When we, in our daily life, every day we take out some dress from freshly washed clothes we take, and then we wear it. And then what happens is, that dress which I am wearing, if it gets torn or if it gets soiled, what do we do? Arey yaar, kharab ho gaya hai. Throw it, take a new dress. So when we take a new dress, do we lament, oh, what to do? My old dress got torn. I had to discard it. What to do? We don't lament. We are not afraid. Oh, what to do? My old dress I have to give up. How can I give up? Do we ever get afraid? We don't get afraid. Why? Because no, we know there is another dress sitting right there. I can take that and wear that. So Krishna says this body is also actually a dress for us, an external dress for us which we are all wearing. At the time of death, what happens is this body becomes no more livable. It becomes no more suitable for our occupancy. Just like if a dress becomes, if this kurta becomes torn, all the buttons go away, the hand gets torn, it's no more wearable. It's not going to cover my body properly. So I have to give it up and take a new kurta. Similarly, when the body's condition becomes such that it is no more suitable for occupancy, we have to leave this body and take on another body, just like taking on another dress. So this actually is the process of transmigration of the soul. Punarjanma. When we die, we take on another body. Krishna says, Jatasya hidruvo mrityur janma mritasya cha. The moment we are born, along with our birth, death is also born. Isn't it? This is the reality of life. When we are born, along with our birth, our death is also born. Because one day we are all going to die. Nobody can live forever. And then Krishna says, Jatasya dhruvo mrityur janma mritasya cha. Mritasya, of a person who is dead, his next janma is also sure. It's also guaranteed. Just like death is born along with your birth, along with your death, next birth is also born. So this is the reality of life. Now, for a devotee, what happens is, this is the knowledge of a jnani. If a jnani understands this much, if he understands this much, then he will no longer be afraid of death. But in the case of a devotee, there is an even added aspect which further removes the issue of fear of death. For a jnani, in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam is coming to the temple, offering obeisances to Krishna. What happens is, next life, minimum he will get a human form of body. If he has done good amount of devotional service, he may even get a birth in a heavenly planet as a Devata. And if he has perfected his life, he'll go back to Godhead and if he goes back to Godhead, there is no more birth and death within this material world. So whatever option you give, it is good only for a devotee. Because minimum he will get a human form of body. And more than that, so whatever is there is anyway added jackpot only. Whether you get Swarga or you get Vaikuntha Vasa, anyway it is good only. So that way, for a devotee, death is shown of its fearful nature. So a devotee is simply by performing devotional service to Krishna, a devotee surrenders himself to Krishna. So he is not bothered about what happens to him at the time of death. Because he has handed himself over to Krishna. It is Krishna's responsibility to take care of him when death comes. Where he will take him, what kind of life he will give him, it is left to Krishna. The brilliant example of this is Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj, as a 5-year-old child, he executed devotional service. He chanted Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya mantra according to the instructions of Narada Muni. And within 6 months, he had darshan of Vishnu. And the rest of his life, he remained a pure devotee of Vishnu, constantly remembering the lotus feet of Vishnu, constantly chanting the holy name of Krishna, never forgetting his lotus feet at any point of time. So his whole life he spent as a pure devotee, always rendering devotional service to Krishna. And although he lived the life of a king, after a certain age, he renounced his kingdom and took up sannyas and went to the forest. And in the forest, as a king, he could not execute full-time devotional service to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. But after a certain point of time, Dhruva Maharaj renounced the kingdom and he went to the forest, took sannyas, and 24 hours he was engaged in devotional service to Krishna, constantly worshipping the deity of Krishna, constantly chanting his holy name, etc. So finally, when the time for his death arrived, what happened? From the Vaikuntha Loka, one transcendental aeroplane came, which was piloted by two people, two 400 people. They were Nanda and Sunanda. They were the residents of Vaikuntha Loka. And they came and parked the aeroplane in the middle of the forest. And they informed Dhruva Maharaj that the time for his death has now come and they have come to take him to Vaikuntha. So immediately Dhruva Maharaj offered his obeisances to them and he said, kindly give me a little time. I am not finished my morning sadhana. Let me finish my morning sadhana and I will come with you. So Nanda and Sunanda also said, okay, please go ahead. So his morning, whatever sadhana he had to do, Mangalarati and Shodashopachara and whatever he had to do, he did all those things. And then not only that, he went around, and because he was living in the forest as a sannyasi, there were other rishis and munis surrounding his ashrama. So he went to all of them and he took permission from them. He said that from Vaikuntha Loka, two personalities have come to take me away. My time of death has come. I want to take your permission and your blessings and I want to leave. So all of them were very happy. A person amongst in their midst, he is achieving the success of life. So they were all very happily, they blessed him and sent him. And so then Dhruva Maharaj walked towards the plane, and as he walked towards the plane, his body transformed into a spiritual body, and it became very effulgent. It became shining, it became brilliant. And with that brilliantly shining transcendental body, Dhruva Maharaj walked towards the plane. And when he approached the plane, when he was close to the plane, suddenly he saw one new person coming between him and the plane. Who was this new person? Death personified. So death personified has come. Death personified is very scary to look at. He has death personified. Death personified means they are all Yamadutas. They are all very dark looking, with very sharp teeth and very fearful eyes and copper red eyes, and their hair is all very disheveled. They are carrying various kinds of weapons in their hands, very fearful to look at. But Dhruva Maharaj was completely undisturbed. He continued walking. And as he drew closer, death personified came and knelt down before Dhruva Maharaj and bowed his head. And what did Dhruva Maharaj do? He placed his foot on the head of death personified and used it like a staircase and got into the aeroplane. And the aeroplane flew away. That's all. And he went back to Vaikuntha. So you see, in the case of a devotee, death is no more a fearful, no more something to be feared. Otherwise, for a common man, according to the sinful activities he has done, Yamadutas will come and they will put a noose around the neck, not our gross neck, but a figurative neck in terms of the subtle body. So the Yamadutas, when they come at the time of our death, they take us along with our subtle body consisting of mind, intelligence and false ego. So they pull the soul out of the body because nobody wants to leave the body. Everybody, our body is very dear. No matter how diseased it becomes, no matter how old we become, no matter how disabled we become, we don't want to leave our body. So the Yamadutas come and practically drag the soul out of the body. And then they have to drag the soul all the way to Yamaloka to give him the suitable decision. What kind of next body is he going to get? What kind of sufferings he has to undergo in Narakaloka for all the Papa Karma he has done. Or if he has done a lot of Punya Karma, then he has to be taken to Swargaloka. Whatever, all those things go on. So that's a very fearful experience for a non-devotee. But for a devotee, there is absolutely no fear of death because he knows where he is going, and that is the aspect for destination. Prabhupada gave a very wonderful example to differentiate the death of an ordinary non-devotee person and a devotee of Krishna. Prabhupada gave the example of how a cat carries a rat in its mouth. Normally, rats or mice, they are food for the cats. The cats will hunt the mouse or the rat, and finally, when they capture it, they will bite the mouse or the rat and carry it in their jaws. So when the rat or the mouse is being carried by the cat in its mouth, what is its feeling? It is experiencing great fear. Now I'm going to die because the cat's jaws are the jaws of death. Now the cat will eat the mouse and then it will go home and it will have 2-3 kittens lying there. Now the cat, if you would have seen, whenever it wants to shift its kitten from one place to another, how will it shift? Especially when the kitten are newborn, their eyes are not open. How will it shift? It will catch the kitten by the neck with its mouth, pick it up and take it to another place. So when the kitten is being carried in the mouth of the cat, what is the kitten experiencing? Oh, my mother is carrying me, so nice. I'm so secure. I'm feeling so safe. Why? Because my mother is carrying me. The same jaws. Experience of the mouse is different. Experience of the kitten is different. So similarly, when a karmi, when a non-devotee, when the time of death comes for him, he experiences great fear. So if we want to become fearless of death, then actually speaking, there is only one way. What is that? Become a devotee of Krishna. And if we become a devotee of Krishna, that death is no more something to be afraid of. On the other hand, a devotee is always looking forward to death. Why? Because it is the step to climb to the next level. Just like when normal people, when they go to temple, when they go and do some auspicious activity, some festival is there, they'll go in front of Lord Shiva or Lord Ganesha, Parvati, they'll go and they'll pray. What will they pray? Oh God, let me have good health, let me have long life, etc., right? So everybody prays for long life. Nobody goes in front of Ganesha on Ganesh Chaturthi and says, oh Ganesha, you are such a great personality, please see that I die very soon. Will anybody say? Nobody in his right senses will say. So, on the other hand, if you look at Kulashekara Alvar is one of the great Alvars. He wrote a stotra glorifying Krishna called Mukundamala Stotra. In the Mukundamala Stotra, he says, Krishna Tvadiya Padaravinda Padapankajantaram Adyaiva Vishatume Manasaraja Hamsaha. He says, oh Krishna, he is directly praying to Krishna. Krishna, let the swan of my mind enter into the lotus-like stems of your lotus feet, Adyaiva, today itself. In other words, he is saying, today itself let me die, let me give up my body. So why is he saying, Adyaiva, let me today itself, now itself die? Why is he saying that? Because he says that prana prayana samaye kafavata pittaihi kantavarodana vidau smaranam gutaste. He says, if I become old and then die, my whole body will become the senses are not in good working condition. My brain may not be working. We don't know whether I'll be suffering from Alzheimer's or I'll be suffering from Parkinson's, whether my mind and intelligence will be working properly or not, no guarantee. Not only that, all our senses will all have become weak, no proper sensation will be there. In that condition, when I die, Kantavarodana Vida, what will happen is, at the time of death, my throat will get choked up and my mind will become completely deranged. I will not be able to think about you. My throat is choked up. I will not be able to chant your holy name. And like that, if I give up my body, then what's the use? Today, my intelligence is good. My mind is in proper working order. I am able to remember you. My voice is working properly. I am able to chant your holy name. So right now, if I die, my mind can be remembering your lotus feet and my mouth can be chanting your holy name and I can leave my body like this. What more is needed for a devotee? So you see, a devotee's approach. He is praying to Krishna. Krishna, please bless me. What is the blessing? I should die right now. Why? Not because he is frustrated in life, some big problem he is not able to solve, so he is thinking of suicide. No. Kulasekar Alvar was a great king. The whole army, the palace, the queens, everything was at his disposal. But he is saying, right now I am in my youth, my whole body, intelligence, everything is in good working order. And therefore, if I leave my body now, I can remember and chant your holy name and I can leave my body, which is the goal of my life. So a devotee is never worried. He is never afraid of death. Devotee simply chants Hare Krishna and he surrenders unto Krishna. That Krishna, you decide when I have to die, how I have to die, and after I die, where I will go, all that is in your hand. Only one condition. Wherever I go, I should not forget your holy name and I should be able to continue to chant your holy name. That's the only condition. That's the only ask that a devotee has from the Supreme Lord. So, if we simply become a devotee of Krishna, if we read the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam, and we hear Prabhupada's instructions, Prabhupada's lectures, etc., then that fear of death will completely go away, because everything, what that phenomenon of death, it's just a few second transitory experience that we have to go through when we, just like we change one house for another, or we are taking a connecting flight. I'm going from one place to another. In between there is a stopover. I get off the flight and go to the transfer terminal and get onto another flight. We don't get worried. If you have done it multiple times, you know very well how to do it. Okay, quickly go, show your tickets, cross over, get into the other terminal, get into the next flight and sit down comfortably. So for a first timer, somebody who is getting into an aeroplane for the first time, for him, he will not know what to do, how to do. He will be in great anxiety. But a devotee is never in anxiety, because Krishna is constantly there to guide him. Prabhupada is there to guide him. Prabhupada is there to take us personally through that experience of death. So no fear for us. We have somebody who is guiding us, who is taking us. So we have no fear. So in short, the answer is that if we have to address the problem of death, only way is become a devotee of Krishna, chant Hare Krishna and read the Bhagavad Gita. Everything will become clear. Is that okay? Any other point? Anything else? Yes, please. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, continuing this question, actually I wanted to know that when we come to Krishna consciousness, we know theoretically at least,
yes,
that the real problems are Janma, Mrityu, Jara and Vyadhi, and
yes,
other problems are secondary. And by Krishna consciousness, we can solve all our problems. But when and our real aim should be that how we should prepare ourselves for going back to Godhead, or for becoming a pure devotee. But when material anxieties come, at that time our mind gets bewildered in such a way that our Maya says us this, that means this problem which you are having now, this is the biggest problem and you should endeavor to solve this, and by that our Krishna consciousness gets sometimes disturbed.
yes.
So how do we make sure that in such situation we maintain our Krishna consciousness and we just remain undisturbed by such situation?
So actually what we have to understand is that Maya is like the police official, and we are like criminals. So when there is a known history cheater, the police will always have an eye on that fellow. Whatever he does, wherever he goes, the police will be going and they'll keep a watch. Sometimes the criminal may be going genuinely on some innocent work. There also the police will come and question, what are you doing? Where are you going? Why have you come here? Arey Baba, I came to attend a friend's wedding, that's all. What is your intention of coming? No intention like that. What to do? So why? Because it's the police duty. He knows that this fellow is a criminal. Anytime he can do some criminal activity. So the police purposely will always keep giving trouble to him. So normal common man who is not a criminal, if he goes anywhere, the police will never stop and ask. But if he is a known criminal, everywhere the police will stop and ask. This is the way it is. So this material world is like a prison house. We are all, those of us who are in this material world, we are all criminals in the prison house. And Maya is the warden of this jail in which we are all jailed. Now, this Maya, the job of Maya is to ensure that nobody escapes from this jail. Just like you go to any prison house, there will be a jail warden. What is his prime duty? His prime duty to ensure is that no criminal escapes from the four walls of the jail. That is the main responsibility. If by chance one or two criminals escape, then what will happen? The jail warden will lose his job. Right? So, Maya is the jail warden here. And she does not, her job is to ensure that nobody escapes from here. Therefore, whenever any jiva takes up the process of spiritual life, Maya immediately becomes alert. Oh, this jiva has started on the path to get out of this prison house. He is going to get out of my clutches. So she will become alert. Immediately what she will do? She will activate one of her two energies. She has two specific energies she activates on people who take up the path of spiritual life to go back to Godhead. So what are these two energies? These two energies are called Prakshepatmika Shakti and Avaranatmika Shakti. So generally speaking, everybody is under the influence of the Avaranatmika Shakti of Maya. Avarana means covering potency. So our eyes are covered, our intelligence is covered by Maya. So every day in front of us we are seeing people die. But it doesn't strike us that I will also have to die one day. Why? Because why in front of us, although so many people are dying, we still don't think I will die. During COVID, we were every day seeing in the news, so many people are dying, the crematoriums are lit with so many pyres. But what do we think sitting looking at the TV? Poor people, so many died. I am safe. I am not going to die. But who knows? Next day, COVID may attack and I may die. There is no guarantee. But I am sitting thinking very comfortably that nothing is going to happen to me. Why? Avaranatmika Shakti. Maya's Avaranatmika Shakti is acting. Now, out of all these people on whom Avaranatmika Shakti is working, their intelligence, their eyes have been covered by the curtain of Maya. One person starts opening and peeping, hey, there is something beyond this. This is not okay. Something is wrong. And he starts reading Bhagavad Gita. Oh my God, all these things are there. Now Maya sees, oh, my Avaranatmika Shakti has failed. What to do? She will immediately activate her other potency. What is that? Prakshepatmika Shakti. What is this Prakshepatmika Shakti? Prakshepana means to throw or to push someone. So, what Maya will do, she will push us, she will try to fling us, she will try to throw us back into the covering, back within the covering, back within the curtain of hers, back within the purview of her Avaranatmika Shakti. How does she do this? First of all, when we start reading Bhagavad Gita, when we start chanting, our relatives, our friends, they will all come to us. Arey Baba, all this you should do it after you retire, 60, 70 years old. After that you do. Why you have to do all these things now? Your relatives will come and tell you, poor boy, you are so nice. What happened to him suddenly? He started reading Bhagavad Gita. What went wrong with him? So, we are reading Bhagavad Gita only. We are not reading any wrong literature. But still, the people's reaction, poor fellow, what went wrong with him? Started reading Bhagavad Gita. So social pressure will come. Why do you have to do this now? We are also devotees. So you be devotee like us. Why you want to go beyond us? We are your parents. We are also devotees. We also believe in God. Why are you trying to become more than your parents? You just do what we are doing. Why you are chanting early morning, you are getting up, started 1 hour, you are sitting and chanting. What is all this? Suddenly you brought one mala into the house. Mala we have seen all in TV serials in the hands of rishis and munis. Suddenly from where it has come to you? How you are doing all these things? Social pressure will come. Many times devotees succumb to this social pressure. They say, my parents at home, they are not allowing. My friends, they have started talking badly about me, so I hide and do. If my friends are there, I will not chant. So, Prakshepatmika Shakti has started acting. Somebody is strong. You think whatever you want. I want to do this. I'll do this. Somebody is really strong. Then Maya sees social pressure has failed. Now what to do? Give him some trouble. Give him some trouble. Why? So that he will forget his main work and he will get absorbed in the problem. Just like you see, when two political parties are there, when one guy is doing well, his rival, what he will do? Purposely he will create some problem. He will create some, he will instigate some activists, go and do some dharna, or he will tell some fellow to go and do some bandh, or you create some problem so that that guy who is doing the good work, he gets diverted, his attention gets diverted. So, Maya will create some problem in our life. Give some problem so that our mind will get diverted from devotional life and we will get attracted to this. So, we have to understand that this is how Maya, like this, Maya has many cards up her sleeve. She will employ all of those things to divert her from executing our devotional life and perfecting our life and getting out of our clutches. She is just doing her duty. She has nothing personal against us. So that's her job. She is doing it. So whenever we come across an instance in our life where we are getting diverted from our spiritual practices, we have to understand immediately our radar should glow. The red bulb should start glowing in our brain. Oh, Maya has started acting. So the only way that we can overcome this Prakshepatmika and Avaranatmika Shakti of Maya is by repeatedly immersing ourselves in a spiritual atmosphere. The example Srila Prabhupada gives is, if we take an iron rod, it is a very simple iron rod. It has its normal characteristics, whatever iron has. Now you put it into a fire and you leave it in the fire for 1 hour, 2 hours, you leave it in the fire. After 1 or 2 hours in the fire, you take out that iron rod, you will see it has become red hot. Now that red hot iron, you take and touch a piece of paper. What will happen? The paper will catch fire. So the iron rod has stopped acting like iron. It has started acting like fire. Why? Because of its constant association with fire. Therefore, in a similar way, currently our consciousness is such that it is overpowered by Maya. Now, if we want to transform our consciousness into a spiritual consciousness where we remain unaffected by Maya, then what has to happen? We have to become red hot like the iron. We have to immerse our mind and our intelligence in Krishna consciousness sufficiently so that our mind and intelligence becomes spiritualized and it becomes like fire. So the solution is that, you see, this is a common understanding. Whenever we start going to a gym, let us say, when we are exercising, initially, when we go to the gym, let us say we are doing bench press. You will put 10 kg on each side and you will do. You will push. After that, next 1 week, all your muscles will be so paining, you will not be able to lift even 5 kg. But you don't stop. You go on every day practicing. Then what will happen after 1 month, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months? What will happen? The 10 kg, you will be able to lift 70 kg, 80 kg, 90 kg. Isn't it? All of a sudden, if you try to lift, not possible. Initially, when you start lifting, there will be pain. You will feel, oh, very difficult for me to progress beyond this. But if you are consistent and if you are persistent, then your strength will develop over a period of time. Similarly, in spiritual life also, as long as you go on consistently and persistently practicing the principles of Krishna consciousness, chanting Hare Krishna mantra a fixed number of rounds every day, reading Prabhupada's books, reading Bhagavad Gita and all the other books that Prabhupada is given, every day without fail there should be a fixed time duration for which you should do all these things. If you keep doing it, you will see your ability to perceive the force of Maya and your ability to withstand the force of Maya will increase with time. It's not an overnight thing. Okay, I read Bhagavad Gita today, over, fine, finished. You can sit, if you sit properly and read one shot, if you read Bhagavad Gita, maybe 4 hours, 5 hours, you can finish it. Page to cover, you can finish it. But it doesn't end there. Every day you have to keep reading again and again. Then what happens is, your spiritual muscles will start building up. So, association is the key. The kind of association we have, we also develop similar qualities. If we associate, if our group of friends are all smokers, what will happen? We will also become a smoker. If all my friends are drunkards, what will happen? I will also become a drunkard over a period of time. Now, if all of my friends are spiritualists, then what will happen is, over a period of time, I will also develop in that field. So, I have to immerse myself in Krishna consciousness consistently, persistently, and I have to keep carefully my association with other devotees. If I am doing this, then you will see slowly, at least now you are having the perception. Earlier, even that perception was not there. Now you are having the perception that some problem is coming and my mind is getting diverted. You see, that perception itself is a big thing. Who has that kind of perception? So, your current level of practice of spirituality has brought you to this level. Now, to go to the next level, all that you have to do is continue your practice, continue increasing your practice, and continue increasing your association with devotees. You will see gradually those difficulties will no longer be able to divert your attention. So, if you look at great personalities like the Pandavas, Arjuna and all that, they went through intense difficulty. Look at Prahlad Maharaj. His father, what all torture he put him through. He wanted to practically kill him. But Dhruva Maharaj was completely undisturbed. You can imagine somebody is attacking you with spears, or somebody is bringing one glass of poison and forcing you to drink it. Will your mind not get agitated? But look at Prahlad Maharaj. Hiranyakashipu, his father, is forcing his mother, make him drink poison. And Prahlad Maharaj is telling mother, don't worry, give it to me. If I don't drink it, he will make you drink it. Give it, I'll drink it. He is taking and drinking. Confidently he is drinking. So no disturbance for him. Why? Because he is firmly fixed up in Krishna consciousness. So, we can also achieve that level. It is possible. Only thing is, we have to practice. Practice Krishna consciousness. Practice makes you perfect. Eventually, you will also come to that level. Is that okay?
Yes, bro. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, we'll stop here. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.